Space available. Kuso, you must be from Carencross, huh? I think something has to happen. I'm not sure, Bob, what the answer is. We got a bro symposium here next week on polling, and the trust that people have in the methodology of where they get their news and the information has changed so dramatically, and Bennett was referring to that. Even the polling industry, where you have these polls, have become totally suspect, because, you know, how many times you've seen a poll and they say, well, you know, the candidate took that poll, so, you know, it's not real. Or this group took the poll, so what do you think? Who paid for it? The pharmaceutical industry paid for it, so of course you know what it's going to say. Or an energy company paid for it, so you know what it's going to say. So there's become a lack of trust, even in polling statistics, and how they phrase the questions, and how sometimes they even doctor the numbers if they're unscrupulous. How do you restore confidence in that? How do you trust what you hear? I mean, most of us are running our lives every day. We don't have time to gather the news or to do a lot of research. We depend on the media to give us the news about what's happening in the world. We're not news people. And when you hear the 24-hour, 7-day, week talk shows who are extremely partisan, I mean, how do you correct that? How do you guarantee balance? You used to have, equal time provisions. If someone said something about you, you could demand equal time on TV to answer it. We don't have that anymore. That's gone. So there's no equal time requirements even for broadcast media. And I think that's unfortunate, because if you only overload it with one strong, set of media reporters from the far right or from the far left, I mean, that's all you hear. I mean, you're going to continue to have a warped sense of what's right and what's wrong. I'm not really sure what the answer is. I think it's very disturbing, because these people on the television tube are become more and more extreme every day. And I don't think it's good for the country. I guess, the right dominated talk radio for a while with the Rush Limbaughs and all those. And now the Ed Schultz have come back, and those guys have come in. Now they got a TV talk show, and Keith Olbermann and Rachel Maddow on the left now have their talk shows in order to combat the Sean Hannitys and Rush Limbaughs and the Glenn Becks on the right. So it's just a battle out there. I mean, that's what's happening now. I mean, I'm not sure what the solution is, but maybe one of those are going to survive and the other one's going to fail. I've always, I did a show, we started it here, actually. Remember the night? I just came off the top of my head. I called it Ceasefire on Healthcare, because I was so tired of both sides having extreme positions on what to do about healthcare. We had Crossfire. Remember the Crossfire program? Maybe some of you remember. They used to battle each other and beat the hell out of each other from the right and the left. And so I call our program Ceasefire on healthcare. And so we brought people from opposite sides to try and find a middle ground that they could agree on. And we did that in Washington for quite a while. And I'd get the Democratic Secretary of Health and Human Services and the Republican former secretary and get them on the same program and try to push them into finding areas of agreement that they could build on. I think you need more of that. I mean, I certainly can't do it. It was a little bitty small program we did. But if you ever had something like that, a program that would speak for middle America and consider both sides and try and bring them together, I think that could be something that would be very powerful. But boy, I tell you, it's a lot easier to get attention if you're crazy. I mean, you don't get coverage. I mean, I'm not sure there's an audience that would, would be a commercial audience for someone in the middle on a national scene. I mean, I kind of think people would like to see it. Who? Computers and blogs. My ace assistant here has told me for 40 some odd years. I mean, that's also true. The internet and the blogs. I mean, Bennett, we're talking about we like to read the paper. Young people don't read papers. They don't even know we have papers. I mean, it's all over the internet. I mean, my partner, Trent Lott, was his birthday yesterday, and his son gave him, what do they call those things? It was an Amazon something.
Kindle.
What? A Kindle. And like I know what it's about, but Trent had no idea what the hell this is. He said, what's this? And he was showing him. He said, look, you can get the Washington Post, and you can get the New York Times. You can get books. And Trent said, you can get books. And his son said, yeah, you want Dan Brown's new book? Boom, 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 boom. There it was, the whole book. I mean, that's how you get the news today. So, I mean, how do you get any kind of legitimate discussion? It's like that. I'm rattling on too long.
Well, it's almost time for us to adjourn, and we are, after this is over, going to walk across the street to the Hill Memorial Library, where there will be a reception for these two gentlemen and the official opening of the papers, and a very good exhibit that is on the ground floor of the Hill Library. Two gentlemen from Louisiana. It's a very good representation of their papers that are being held at the Hill Memorial Library. And so, if you cannot join us today for that reception, at some point I urge you to go and see the exhibit and get a feel for these men through their congressional papers. But before we go, I want to say on behalf of this group here of students and faculty and guests and family and friends how much we appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
And to say that I think, ideology and party aside, that I think we can all agree that if every member of Congress conducted themselves as these two men did in their service, in their years in Congress, that this country would be a lot stronger, our democracy would be a lot more secure, and there would be a lot more progress on the important issues that Congress and the President are facing today. So thank you so much for your service, and thank you for being here.